Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. I've got less hair, more weight, but more experience. So, where have I been? Well, I'll be honest, I've been umming and ahhing whether to continue this channel or not. A lot goes into it, you know, whilst I'm on the bank, when I get home, you know, the week, 2 weeks after, you know, to get these videos turned out. And it's not about the money. Yeah, I do make a few quid off of them, but the last few sessions I've been out, well, a lot of the sessions I've been out on since my last film, is I've just enjoyed the actual fishing more so than the filming. But Jedi Carper, good friend of mine, he keeps on at me, Lee, you've got to keep your channel going, you know, you will get rewarded for it if you keep putting the time and effort into it. So we're here, we're at Follyfoot, we're on my favourite peg, peg 3. We've got 48 hours, the rods are out. I'll run through them a bit later on, you know, what I've got on there, what rods I'm currently using, bladdy blab, bait, another one, you know, that's the main thing as well. You know, we all use bait to catch fish, so we're giving some new bait a go alongside, you know, my existing bait that I've been using. So yeah, that's it really. We'll go over and see Tony, who's over in Peg 1 in a minute, have a little catch up with him, first time fishing with him. Popped down and seen him probably about a month or two ago. He was fishing here. He watches me channel, so yeah, I said, well, you know, we get a little session booked up. So yeah, hopefully you'll see Tony with a couple of fish on the bank on this vlog as well. So for the meantime, let's do a little spin round of the lake and some scenic shots, bit of B-roll as Jed says it is, and catch up with you in a bit. Right, show you where I got my rods. So, if you've watched my channel before, you'll probably guess exactly where my rods are. So my left hand rod is just down in this left hand margin. There's an old platform there when it used to be a sort of match venue. So we've literally got left hand rod just off of that. My middle rod is on the far margin over there, which this bush, oh, fat fingers, the bush right on that far bank there. So he's about half a rod length off of that. And then my right hand rod is off of these snags here, literally just off of there. So let's go through with you what bait I'm using and what I've got on which rod. Right, that topic that I know all you guys love, bait. So on this session I'm currently using Hunter's Baits. So Hunter's Bait Services are based down in Axminster. It's owned by a chap called Clark Adams. I've known of Clark for several years now, and he's been producing bait for quite a while, on I'd say a small scale, but recently he's had an investor, and they had a bank holiday sort of deal, so I thought, right, let's get some bait. I mean, I know a couple of guys, friends of mine, who use this bait, who rave about it. So what we're using here today is the SSK. So don't quote me on this, but I believe, I should have done my research really, this is a fish meal based one, but this is the one that everybody has been catching a lot of fish on. As you can see there's a lot goes into that bait. Obviously if you're a bit of a nerd and you like to know exactly what goes into the bait, then obviously you can head over to Hunter's Bait Services. They've got a Facebook page, Instagram page, website, and everything you need to know about the bait is on there. So that's the SSK. These are 15mm and these are shelf life, or stabilised shall we say. So also I picked up the matching SSK wafters, so we got some of them. We've got the other in the line, which is the nut mix. So again, they do, you know, shelf life and stabilised and freezer baits to match the nuts mix. And then I got, I believe, which is the first bait he brung out, which is the Natra Fish. So as you can see, this has got a sort of a reddy pinkish tinge to it, and this smells absolutely divine. And these ones here, these are wafters. I forgot to mention the nut mix ones actually. They're hard hookers, but you know, regardless of whether you've got hard hookers, wafters, match the hatch pop-ups, these will be the colours you can get them in. As you can see, the SSK is slightly darker than the nut mix, and then obviously the Natra fish, you can see that's completely different. So yeah, I'm currently using up the last of my other bait, which is the, hang on, let me pause it a minute and I'll swing that round. So alongside the SSK, I'm currently using up the last that I have of the Sticky Baits Manila Active. So I'm not sure if you've seen these baits before. They have caught me a lot of fish, but they're not the cheapest baits, I'll be honest. But the Sticky Baits Active, if you're not aware of these, they do come, see if I can try and get this off, they do come with a coating. So inside of there is your normal 15mm boilie, that then has the active coating. And what this does, I just bloody dropped it. Let's grab another one. So what this does, this will break down on the lake bed over time and create a nice sort of little haze of bait around. These particles will drift up through the water column, and then just leaving, you know, your sort of standard 15mm boilie on the bottom there. So yeah, we're using this alongside the SSK, very sort of similar in colours, but we've got one sweet, one fishy. So we've got them out on left hand rod is got a Sticky Baits Active Wafter. The far margin over there has got Hunter's Baits SSK Wafter, and the one down on the right hand side has the Hunter's Baits Natra Fish Wafter. So we've got two on the Hunter's Baits and then one on the old Sticky. Right, so I'm going to have a little freshen up before the night gets too late. So what I was catching on last time I was here was the Sticky Mobs yellow pop-ups, the little bag of mixed pellet. So I'm going to go for this. It worked last time, there's no reason why it shouldn't work this time. I've had nothing on the deck all day on the wafters, so it's time to stick the Ronnie rigs out with yellow pop-ups and a little bag of pellet. we go. First fish, left hand margin. Yeah, happy days. About £10. It's still recording. Yeah, it just goes blank after a while. So yeah, first fish, left hand margin. Yeah.
Tidy fish.
Happy days.
Well done, my man.
Yeah. Doing it. Get back.
Little banger.
Yeah. Lovely. Nice dark colours on him. So yeah.
I know the rain's coming.
He's just starting to, isn't
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, well done, mate. Brilliant, mate.
Cheers, mate. Doing it. There you go. 11:30 at night. This one come off the far margin. So yeah. There you go. Happy days. Another fish in the bag. Yes. Bosh. Right, I just had another one. But this is probably the smallest one of what we've had, so we'll let this one go. It's about half an hour after the last one, so this was to the right hand margin, so yeah, all 3 rods producing. We'll let this one get back. Morning. So yeah, 3 fish yesterday and this morning. One around tea time, one at 11:30, and then the other one was about 2:30 this morning. Obviously, as you see from the footage, the third one I didn't bother getting it out for photos. It wasn't worth getting it out, and yeah, weather took a bit of a turn for the worse during the night. So it was off and on rain, wind. Didn't get the thunderstorms that were forecast. But we did get a lot of rain through the night, so whether that's backed the fish off a little bit, whether that's going to bring them on a bit for today, we'll wait and see. I've kept the rods in, they're all in, you know, when I redone them after the fish yesterday. I've been around this morning, put a bit of bait over each rod just to put a bit more in the area. So yeah, probably gonna leave them where they are till sort of midday, because obviously bite time sort of anything up to midday here. Depending on if the wind dies down a bit, I might chuck the floaters out, but there's quite a ripple on the surface at the moment, which is always difficult for floater fishing, so they don't tend to come up as easy when there's a bit of ripple on the top. But yeah, happy with that. 3 fish in 24 hours, well, less than 24 hours I should say, in the first 24 hours. That sounds better. And hopefully a few more to come today. I spoke to Tony this morning. He had a run early hours of this morning, but unfortunately it snagged him up and he lost it. So he's got all his rods back out again now. I think he's redone all of them this morning. So yeah, fingers crossed we have a few, and get one on the bank for Tony so we can get on the vlog. And yeah, well, I'll see you soon. So, Sonic Hero X rods. As you can see, nice sort of green detail in there. See the carbon fibre there, and then, you know, it goes to a matte black surface. Nice Japanese shrink wrap. Got a nice little butt cap there, and then the reels are quite nice. So yeah, got the 8000 there. Got the Sonic logo on there. Front drag. It's good front drag, I'd say probably about turn and a half from fully locked to open. And then of course I had to get myself a little set of the Sonic bobbins. Didn't go for the alarms, just running some Pro Logic C series alarms. But yeah, nothing too expensive, nothing too fancy, but yeah, really happy with them actually, how they're performing. So yeah, like I say, 10 foot 3.5 pound test curve. And then yeah, right, anyway, I'm waffling now. What do I need to do? I need to go and say hello to Tony, who's fishing in peg 1 that way. So tell us where your rods are then.
I've got 1/8 left hand rod just out on the point of the bush.
Yep.
First inside bush.
Yep.
Middle one is over directly opposite me in the room.
Over there, yep.
And then the left hand one, right hand one, just down
in
the bay between
yeah.
the lilies.
Yeah. And you was here about a month ago, wasn't it? I think just over a month ago, and you had a few out.
Yeah, about 11, 12.
Yeah. Nice.
So it was a good one. Biggest was I think 21 something.
Yeah. There's certainly some nice fish in here, and your plan is to catch a koi, innit?
Oh yes.
Wants to get a koi.
I'm hoping.
So yeah, there's the owner just walking around over there, Rupert, with the dog.
The growling dog.
Yeah.
He growled at me earlier on.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
So yeah, wait for the weather to warm up and then whack a barbecue on later, I think. Have a bit of food, have some burgers. So yeah, no doubt you guys will see Tone, not if he gets a fish, when he gets a fish. When he gets a fish, yeah. Right, I'll speak to you soon. There we go, finally. Absolutely ballistic in the sling here. So yeah, left hand margin, full fish. Definitely got a bit of koi in him, this one. So yeah, lovely fish. Little yellow pop up, bag of pellet. So yeah, happy days. Lovely. Let's get him back. He put up more fight in that bloody sling.
Yeah. Still recording.
Right, so we're running out of PVA meshes to hook on, so I have to tie a few more up. So normally you just get a little sort of handful of bait like that. You don't want them too big. The bigger they are, the harder they're going to be to fly through the air. That's all we do, like that. Whip it off. This is the Corda funnel web mesh, this one. Pretty good actually. It's not the micro mesh, because you get the micro mesh and the funnel web. That's the funnel web, which is slightly bigger gaps in it. The micro mesh is more tightly woven. But in here, in this, we've got a mix of pellets in here. That we got Nash Scopex squid. We've got DNA baits, crayfish maxi mix, and we've got some of the sticky baits, trouties, bloodworm, and manila. So yeah, I do like, you know, my pellets. I do like to have varying sort of sizes, flavours, and colours. I think it just mixes it up a little bit. So again, I'll probably make about half a dozen of these up. I like to have a few, because obviously if I get a few bites during the night, I don't want to be fart-assing about like I did last night, tying some of these up. So yeah, another good little tip I've sort of taught myself or learnt myself over the years is when you buy the refills, for these, don't put all of the refill on, just put half of it on. I made the mistake of doing that once and it got wet and it ruined all the mesh. So yeah, a whole 5 meters of mesh, which I think is about £7 or £8, was ruined. So if you put half on, or even a quarter, you know, you put a couple of meters on at a time, then if it does get damp or wet, or you drop it, then at least you haven't got to, you know, buy a whole new one, and you know, and then you've always got some spare as well. So but yeah, that's pretty much it really. So I'm not too concerned if they're all exactly the same size, as long as they're nice and tight is the main thing. Just so you know, they're easy to sort of hook on and they're not all saggy. If I do a couple of slightly saggier ones that aren't as tight, I normally use them when I'm fishing sort of closer in on the margins, because I haven't got to worry about them flying through the air then, so I'm causing a bit of drag. But yeah, well, that's pretty much it then. So I'm not going to bore you with too much more watching these, but this is what I like to do. Always hook a bag of something on, whether it's a little bag of pellet like this, or you know, whether it's a bag of like boilie crumb. But I think pellet, you can't go far wrong with pellet, to be honest. Every fish in the bloody lakes like pellets. That's what they're reared on, that's what they're fed on. So yeah, like I say, just key to making sure it's nice and compact. It's quite tight on the load of this mesh, but I like that because then it doesn't all sort of come off. And then I suppose, as you guys know, you tie 2 knots, next to each other and then snip in the middle. So yeah, I've got a few made up there. I'll probably just carry on till this is empty and then slide another half a roll on and do some more. Right, so just following on from the video a minute ago, this is the mesh that I use. So it's the Corda original funnel web PVA system compressor. When you buy that, you get 7 meters of the hex mesh in there, and then I just buy the 5 meter refills. As I said, I've just redone this one, so I only put half of it on, and the other half, as you can see, is still on there. So worst case scenario, if this gets wet, dropped in the water, damp for any reason, then we've only wasted half of it. I know there's obviously various companies out there that do different versions of PVA, but I still think, you know, Corda PVA mesh is the best out there. I've tried Carp Craze, what's the other one? There was another one I tried as well, but feel free in the comments if anybody wants to recommend any other mesh system, or if there's any, you know, PVA companies out there that want to send me some to try out and put on the channel, then by all means I'll feature it and give it a little review, an honest review as well. So, but yeah, this, if you're looking for PVA, and you can't go wrong with this, so I would recommend this one. It's not the cheapest, but it is decent. Right, just a little mid-afternoon update. No fish since that last one. Tony's not had any fish as of yet. I'd take the decision to cut this session cut this session short. I do suffer with gout quite bad, and I've had a recent flare up. I wasn't actually going to come fishing. I did tell Tony that, you know, I'd do my best to make it because it's our first session together. So I've made it here. I've done a night. By the time I get home today, it'll be sort of like, you know, 30 odd hours, 36 hours. So day and a half session. I'll be off tomorrow morning anyway, so it's only the night I'm missing. But yeah, happy with 4 fish so far. Still got about 2.5, 3 hours left. Got to pack away about 4 o'clock so I can get home for tea time. But yeah, well happy with what we've done so far. Vlogs going forward, I've enjoyed doing this one so far. Like I said earlier in the video, it probably is a little bit hit and miss. Just getting back into the swing of things really, because it's been so long. If there's anything, you know, you guys like seeing, you don't like seeing, I try not to bore you too much with, you know, same stuff that's generic in everybody's vlogs. But obviously I've got to put something in there to make it a video. So, you know, there is a bit about the bait, the rigs, areas, etc. Little insight into the, you know, the PVA and, you know, the pellet and stuff like that, which hopefully some people might pick on and find useful. But yeah, next vlog will be, I might do a day session out at Thorny Lakes, another little lake local to me. Beautiful lake. They've invested a lot of money in that lake, you know, in the last year or so, putting up an otter fence and stock. Did fish there a couple of weeks ago after I dropped the wife at the airport, and yeah, had I think it was 4 fish I had out in sort of like 6 hours, I think it was. And then Sherry, who I was fishing with, I think he had 7 or 8, and he stayed on a bit longer than me. But yeah, that'll probably be the next one. If not, then we got Oak Lake in August. No, next one will be July, which will be the Islands, which is back of the landing net. That's like a sort of mini social. I'm pegged up with Matt Primmer, lad who I've got to know through fishing, so doubled up on the swim. Sort of like a mini sort of social comp thing, so doing that. Keep your eyes out for that. That's July, so at the moment we're in June, July, and then August I've got Oak Lake with Jedi Carper and Lee, his friend, and then immediately after that, then I've got Kef and Mabley Lodge on the Lakes. So take the wife up to there, she'll be sat in the hot tub while I'm hopefully bagging up on fish. But yeah, so that's enough waffling, as I like to say. Hopefully I'll see you after this with another fish on the bank for myself, or hopefully, fingers crossed, for Tony before I go. If not, then thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the vlog. If you don't already, then please, you know, subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video to friends. yeah, any questions or comments, then please, you know, whether it's negative or positive, I always sort of take on board, you know, other people's ideas, you know, criticism. Although we don't like it, sometimes it can help to sort of move your channel forward. But yeah, thanks again, guys, and